Hello, my name is Melanie and I am a type 1 diabetic. Today marks 2 years since my diagnosis, and I really want to tell my story. I think as a teenager it's hard to be a diabetic. It's hard to live with it and to handle it. So I was 15 when I was diagnosed. Starting in October, I have noticed that a lot of people were telling me that I had lost a lot of weight, and they were asking me what was I doing to lose all this weight. And honestly, I didn't like notice. I didn't pay much attention because I thought I just looked the same, and I just ignored it completely. Late October, I started to feel different, but I didn't think it was bad. In the beginning of November, and think about this was in 2019. So November of 2019, I started to feel really tired, and I would also drink a lot of water. I felt super thirsty 24/7, like I couldn't stop drinking water, to the point where I thought water wasn't helping, so I kept drinking like Gatorade, things that would try to hydrate me, because I felt my mouth so dry, and I just felt really thirsty. And I would fill up my water bottle at school, like in the beginning of class, in the middle of class, and at the end of the class, every class period. And it's just, I guess I just thought that I was dehydrated, so I let it slide. And I noticed that I kept going to the bathroom a lot, and I would literally go to the bathroom 10 minutes starting class, and then in the middle of the class, and then again at the end of the class, like 10 minutes before the class ended. And so I also didn't think much of it, because I was like, okay, I'm drinking a lot of water, maybe that's why I'm going to the bathroom a lot. And again, didn't think anything of it. Literally the whole month of November, that's how I spent it. Drinking water, going to the bathroom, drinking water, going to the bathroom. And I noticed that I started to get like tired, to the point where I started sleeping in my classes, and I would never do that. I would never fall asleep. And I would also take naps in the middle of the day, and that's another thing that I wouldn't do. Just because I'm usually like the person who waits to get sleepy at night, because if I sleep during the day, that just affects my sleeping schedule, and then I'm not sleepy at night. So that's why it was weird to me. And also my family saw that it was weird, because like I said, I don't take naps like at all. But I would start taking naps during the day. I would fall asleep in the couch, and my brother one time, he's like, what are you so tired of? And I'm like, I don't know. And I would even sleep early. The latest I would sleep on a school night would be 10:30 or 10, but I would start sleeping like at 8 or 9, which isn't a big difference, but for me it is, because like I said, I wouldn't sleep early. So I noticed that when I would go to the bathroom, I would only urinate, like I would only pee. And when I would do that, I noticed these like weird particles in my urine, and they looked white. And I remember my mom telling me that usually girls just go through that, and that it's like your body cleaning itself. And I don't remember exactly what she said, but I didn't think much of it again. I even went to my best friend's quinceañera. That's when it started going downhill, because I noticed that I kept urinating these like white things, like I said, and it was just weird. Like that's when I noticed what's going on, because it hasn't stopped. Thanksgiving week came, and on Monday of that week I started to feel really, really tired, to the point where like I started arriving late to school because I would fall asleep through my alarm. And it wasn't me, and I felt weird. And then on Tuesday of that week, I felt something weird in my throat that, like, it was a sensation where I wanted to literally burp, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. And I was like, what is going on? And I didn't even stay for dance practice that day. I just left straight home. And then Wednesday, we had Wednesday off because it was Thanksgiving week. And my brother, he said that it would help a lot if I drank Coke, and he would prepare a Coke and then put lemon in, and then I would burp and it would feel good. But it's just, it wouldn't stop. And I started feeling nauseous every time, but I wouldn't necessarily vomit yet. And recently a cousin had passed away in October, so they did a mass for him that Wednesday, and we went, and literally the whole mass in the church, I was in the bathroom. And that's when I let everything out. Like, I was vomiting nonstop. Like, that was me the whole mass at church. It was bad. Like, my sister came to knock the door, and I was like, yeah, I can't do this. And like, during that week, I wasn't eating either. Like, I would only have like a bite of food, and I just, that's it. I wasn't hungry, like, at all. I couldn't even stare at food. It was bad. And so we left. We went to a restaurant, and again, I didn't eat. And I fell asleep after that night, and the next day it was Thanksgiving, and my brother was like, there's something wrong with you, like, we need to take you to the hospital because you're not doing good. And I didn't want to. I definitely didn't want to because it was Thanksgiving. I wanted to spend it with my family, but I couldn't. I had to. I wasn't feeling well. Like, it was bad. Like, and then we went to the hospital. So my brother, my mom, my sister, and me all went to the hospital. My uncle stayed home. So he came for Thanksgiving, so he stayed home, and just basically my family took me to the hospital. We arrived, I got registered, and my brother took me to the emergency room just because, just to get out there quick. And I was admitted, and they ran some tests. I had to urinate in a cup. I don't remember if they took blood out. I don't remember, but I think it was just urine. I told them what was going on about my throat, and they told me that I did have something in my throat. I think it was either an infection. I'm not sure. And after the doctor, she came in and told me that I had something in my throat. She's like, I'll just give you some antibiotics and you're ready to go. And we were like, okay. And my brother and me were waiting inside the room. My mom and my sister stayed in the waiting area, so it was just me and my brother. And 5 minutes passed, 10 minutes passed, 15 minutes passed, and we just wouldn't leave. Like, we didn't get out of the hospital. So I was like, what's going on? What's taking them so long? You know, like, it's not that hard to get antibiotics. You know, I was impatient. I was really impatient. I was already sick, and I wanted to go home. And all of a sudden, the doctor comes back in, and she's like, we can't let you go because it seems that you're diabetic. Did you know that you're diabetic? At that point, like, you know that moment where you hear something, but like, you don't process it. Like, you heard it, but your mind is blank. That's how I felt at that moment. I looked at my brother, my brother looked at me, and I was like, what? And she's like, your sugar is at 400 and something. I think it was exactly 400. She's like, I can't let you go. We can't let you go because you're diabetic. It seems like you just became a diabetic. Me and my brother just stayed calm. Well, I wanted, deep down, I wasn't doing good. Like, I wanted to cry, I wanted to scream, but I hold sanity, I guess, for my brother. He told me to calm down and then to stay calm, and I was like, okay. My brother then called my mom, and my sister to come in and asked the doctor if they could come in. She said yes. My sister and my mom arrived, and my brother like literally laid the bomb to them. I saw my mom's face, I saw my sister's face, and I saw that they wanted to also cry, but they also held it in. So we waited for the room. While we were waiting, like, a lot of doctors were coming in, like pediatrics, because I was still a kid. I was 15. Well, I am kind of a kid still, but I was younger. They kept coming in. A lot of nurses. They're like, basically, the way I saw it, they were telling me about diabetes and how it's easy to live with it and how controllable it is now to live with it. But in my mind, I was like, you make it sound so easy, but I literally just found out, like, how can I just like go straight forward and be okay with it, you know? And I guess they just were doing their job, and that is okay. But in my mind, I really wasn't paying attention to what they were saying about diabetes. Like, I was blank, completely blank. At that moment, when we were waiting, I felt really nauseous, and I felt sick to my stomach, and I threw up. Luckily, my sister had like a plastic bag, so then I threw up in there. After literally that, like, the room was ready, so they took me to my room. Another doctor came in, and that's when I started paying attention, and she started telling me what diabetes is. From my understanding, type 1 diabetes is when your pancreas is destroyed by your immune system and you're not producing insulin anymore. It is also, it can be different from type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is you produce insulin, but just a little, and your body doesn't know how to use it, from my understanding. I was a type 1 diabetic, and there was a translator, and she kept saying things in Spanish, because obviously my family is Spanish speaking, especially my mom. My brother and my sister know English, but it was for my mom. And after they were finished telling us about diabetes, and then they asked us any questions, we literally all started to cry. My brother cried, and my sister cried, I cried, and my mom cried. I honestly, like, I've never seen my brother cry ever since 2010, when my father passed away. It definitely hit me, because seeing my mom cry and seeing my sister cry, I think what hurt me the most is seeing my family hurt. And I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't know what is expected of me to do. And I just kept blaming myself, like, what could I have done to avoid this? What could have I done to not get this, you know? At that point, you just blame yourself, and you don't stop blaming yourself because you think it was your fault. And it wasn't just me. My family also took the blame for it, and that, I guess, that's what hurt me the most. Seeing them get affected by it, it was the most painful thing than me just finding out that I am the type 1 diabetic. So I spent like approximately Thursday, Friday, like 5 days in the hospital. The first day was tough. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I really couldn't eat anything because they had to control my sugar levels because they were really high. So, something that I think about is literally that day, the doctor like told us, if you hadn't come to the hospital like today, you could have gone into a coma literally that day or the next day. I think that's what made everyone else cry even more. I learned how to inject myself like the third day in the hospital. I learned how to prick my finger that same day as well on my own. The reason why I really wasn't get out of the hospital right away was because I had a lot of ketones, and ketones is when like your body, since it's not burning sugar, it's burning fat, which is one of the main reasons why you start losing weight, because instead of burning sugar to like, because when you burn sugar is how you get your energy. My body wasn't doing that, so the only way to get rid of ketones was by literally peeing them out. So I spent 5 days. I think I got out of the hospital like a day or 2 days before my birthday. I had to get used. I had to learn how to correct myself based on the scale, like a correction scale. I had to change my eating habits to literally smaller portions than what I would eat. Not saying that I would devour food, but it was definitely different than what I used to eat. And then I also had to learn how to count my carbs, which right now it's kind of still difficult, but before it was really hard to do the math of your correction scale and your carb intake. The first few weeks they were hard because I couldn't get used to it, and I broke down one night because I felt like I couldn't do it. I think I'm just lucky that I arrived at the hospital on time and that I got this while my brother wasn't working, and I had literally a buddy next to me. Well, everybody was next to me, but my brother was the one who would cook for me, who would be there for me, and who would stay up at night. Also my sister, just because they wanted to know how my sugars were and keep me on track. I think if I didn't have this supportive family that I do have right now, I don't think I would have done it. I don't think I would have even still be here right now. Yeah, I think that's how I feel. This was my diabetic log. My brother one time, well, literally the first day that I got out of the hospital, he told me, "Do you have a notebook?" And I was like, "Yeah." I gave him this one, and he wrote, this was my very first scale, like correction scale. So when my sugar would be at 130 to 160, I would have to inject 1 unit. 161 to 190, 2 units, and so on. And this is where I would write down like the day and what time it was, and like how much my sugar was at that time. And then these are like the units that I would write down. I had this log, and I finished it in December 15 of 2020. And then I started another log, which I don't know where I left it.
2,000 years later.
And then I started another log. This one I decorated it a little bit more, and I stopped using it like in March, because in March I stopped pricking my fingers and I got a Dexcom. This is my Dexcom. I think I got it in like March 19, I don't remember, but I stopped writing down my intakes. The only thing I have written down is my scale, because I don't remember it like on top of my head. So it's still this one. So during at night, sometimes I don't inject as much because I go like really low. So that's why I have 2 different scales, a day and night one. And now I just write it. I just log my insulin intake and my sugar in my Dexcom app just because it's easier. And then I would like feel so lazy to like before eating getting my notebook and writing everything down and making sure like I wrote it down. Right here you can never leave your phone, so I just write it down now on my phone. Although I feel like I want to feel more productive and start writing it on my journal again. I'll think about it. Why am I doing this? Why am I like sitting in front of a camera and like talking to a camera? And I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for that 17-year-old girl who passed away in my school because of a diabetic coma. I'm doing it for all of the teens and kids that do not have the same support I have. Nobody knows the causes of diabetes. Nobody knows how hard it is to live with it unless you meet somebody. I am grateful for the support I have from my family. I am grateful for the support I have from my friends. I have amazing, loving friends who know what to do when I'm going low, who know what to do when I'm literally high, having a seizure on the floor, or like I literally passed out. It's those people who decide to understand you and who decide to stay with you and support you. And sadly, not every diabetic has that. I sat at this same chair. I faced a camera last year. And I did a video. I watched it, I edited it, and I never posted it. I deleted the video because I thought my voice wasn't going to be heard. I thought it was a bad idea for me to post it. There's so many people like me and they don't have the support I have, and I want to support them. I want to help people like me because I look back at that 17-year-old girl and I was devastated. I didn't know her as much as her classmates, as much as her friends, her family, but that could have been me. I want to make this channel about my journey. This is my diagnosis story, but this doesn't mean it's the ending of my story. I am Melanie Martinez.